Welcome to Adjust Your Mirrors, the #1 empowerment podcast show on the planet. Are you in need of motivation? Are you ready to take your personal and professional life to the next level? Then you've come to the right place. Adjust Your Mirrors. This is the podcast that's devoted to helping you see more clearly by making small adjustments. And now, here's your host, Reginald C. Allen.
Hey. Yes. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Adjust Your Mirrors. I am your host, Reginald C. Allen. Just thanking all of you again for tuning in. Listen, Linda, listen. Need you to do me a favor. Need you to go over to iTunes. Make sure that you are subscribed to the show and make sure you leave a review. Also need you to go over to YouTube. Also need you to go over to Facebook and become part of our private Facebook group. Once you're over there, it's okay to just freely post. As long as you're posting some motivational, inspirational content, it's all good. Listen, family. Just sitting here thinking about some of the things that we go through on a daily basis, right? Many of you listening, I don't know if you feel like me, but, currently I do have a job, but ultimately one day I do plan on working and doing this full time. But, when you're going through that process of trying to become an entrepreneur and trying to work for yourself, you have to fight these feelings. You go through all these different emotions and you got to find a way to just find some peace in the midst of all this chaos, right? Because you're going to a job every single day, and this is nothing against, people that I've worked for, but when you know that you are an entrepreneur or when you want to move into that space, it's hard for you to just fully engage working for someone else, right? You're there, you're doing your best, but sometimes you're sitting there and you're thinking to yourself, wow, I'm doing all these things. I'm going all out of my way to make this particular person rich. And here it is. I have all these goals, all these desires that I have, and I have yet to see them manifest. But I want to encourage you. I want to encourage us because, excuse me, one of the things that we have to realize is that when we're going through that process, those feelings are normal. But when you get those feelings, that doesn't mean that that's just that you get those feelings for you to say, okay, it's time for me to quit. No, you can't do that, man, because you're going to be going from job to job to job. No, right? You just can't continue to just run. Okay, I'm going to this job. I'm going to this job. This is going to be the answer, because what I've realized is this: doesn't matter what job you're going to, there's always going to be the same result. You don't want to be there, right? If you have the desire to be an entrepreneur, you finding another job is never going to be the answer. Never. I've had some great jobs. I've had some not so great jobs. But one thing that they all have in common is I don't want to be there, So I want us to understand going from job to job to job is not the answer. What we have to do, you must understand that you can't focus on hating your job. Instead, focus on what you can do to get out of that job. Because you're putting all this energy, all this time, you're just wasting all your emotional intelligence on this job versus using all that intelligence, those emotions, that time, instead of doing what you can do to get your business off the ground. Maybe that's the reason why you can't get your business off the ground, because you're so focused on what you're doing right now. Oh man, I don't like this boss. I don't like this supervisor. I don't like the people that I'm working with. And then you're just sitting there on your couch, just thinking about all the people you don't like, instead of using that time to get up and implement a plan that will help you accomplish your goals. So you need to understand, and I should say we, I don't want to just say you, me included, hopping from one job to the next is not the answer. You're going from this job thinking this is going to help you. Then you go to this job and you work there for 4 or 5 months and you think to yourself, well, I should have just stayed at the last job, because ultimately it's the same thing. You have bosses that expect you to do this and you're thinking to yourself, wow, I should have stayed in the hell that I've already known versus moving into a new hell, right? So I just want to encourage you, stay the course. When you get those emotions, find a way to bring peace and balance to yourself, Instead of running, instead of complaining, why don't you take the time to dig in, learn, and uncover more about yourself? Why don't we do that? It's easy to run from this job to that job, but why don't we just say, you know what? I'm going to dig in, I'm going to learn. And then once I learn, I can uncover the things about myself. Maybe me running, going from this place to that place, maybe that's the reason why I haven't been able to accomplish my goals, because I'm not consistent, because I'm all over the place, right? Instead of looking for a way out, what if this is an opportunity, for the universe or God testing you to see what you're really made of? Because when you create a business, you can't run. Once you decide to leave that job, now it's on you as an entrepreneur to make sure that whatever situations that you're going through, you're not going to be willing to just throw in the towel so easy. So I want to encourage you today, very simple message. Take the time today to dig in, learn. Don't run. We're not going to run. We're just going to fight through these feelings. Yes, it's a lot of stress. It's chaotic. People are getting on our nerves and I feel like going crazy. But you know what? Be encouraged, because you know that even though you're going through this, ultimately, it's going to work out for you. Why? Because you're going to create that business. You're going to start that business. That business is going to manifest itself. But what we need to understand, we have to learn these lessons right now. Because if you can just be the type of person who faces adversity and just run, well, I'm going to run. That business that you have deep inside of you, it's never going to manifest itself. We need some staying power. Okay? So listen, family, again, be encouraged. Understand that it's going to be okay. Understand that this is the season that you have to learn what's really inside of you, what you're really made of. Dig in, learn, and with that, be empowered.
Thank you for listening to the Adjust Your Mirrors podcast with Reginald C. Allen. Be sure to visit the Adjust Your Mirrors private Facebook group, and don't forget to follow Reginald on Twitter at Reginald C. Allen. Please remember, when you're listening on iTunes, leave us a 5-star rating review. Until next time, be empowered.